is Yokoko Christine. In this video, I will explain project management fundamentals. What project is all about, how can you manage the project, what are the things we need to come up with a clear project. We shall start by defining what a project is. Project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or a result. Under this project, there are very many attributes which we shall look at. As it is said, a project is just a temporary endeavor, which means anything you do with the aim of achieving a particular or of solving a particular issue. That's a project. Under the attributes of a project, we shall have points like has the well-defined objectives, meaning a project needs to have a clear and a well-defined objectives, like how you are going to do this and that. It needs to be defined clearly. Secondly, composed of series of interdependent tasks. It means it has, under a project, there will be tasks which are not the same, but they will be interrelated, they will depend on each other. Then we have utilization of various resources. In a project, of course, there will be need for use of various projects. Then has a specific time frame. You should be in position to schedule, like this project will run for this long or this much. That is also another attribute of a project. And then another attribute for a project is it has a customer, and then involves a degree of uncertainties. Those are some of the attributes of a project. Then moving on to the fundamental life cycle of the life cycle of a project. We shall look at these 4 major steps. We shall look at the initialization, we shall look at the planning, we shall look at the execution and the closure. Now, what happens under initiation? We're saying this is the stage where you just establish the objectives. The objectives, ideal coming up with the objectives for this particular project. For example, the outputs here can be the project feasibility, the stakeholders registering. You can look at the project charters. Those ones, they fall under initialization. Then moving to planning. In planning, now there you come up with the actual plan for the project. Examples can be like you can be in position to use the proposal, like the schedules. Under schedule is just will be looking at how we'll be using your time, those kind of things. They're under planning. The budget, estimate, all of those, they fall under planning. Then under execution, performs the work. Now when it comes to execution, this is where now the actual work is done. And some of the outputs under it can include the task list, the issue log, the risk log, the deliverables. Those ones, they all fall under execution. Then we have the closer. Of course, a project always has a beginning and an end. It means there has to be, after now it being initiated, after it being planned, executed, there has to be a closer. Under this closer, you look at things like obtaining now feedbacks. For example, the summary report, the closeout documents, the customer feedback survey. So by following all these steps, you can ensure that your project is completed on time, within the budget and the satisfaction of all stakeholders. But once you miss any of these steps, definitely you'll have issues, especially maybe the cost, maybe you may not be in position to meet the deadline, all those. And then let's move on to project management. Now we've already looked at project itself. Now what is project management? Under project management, we shall say this is an application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. As it sounds, management. Under management, of course, for you to manage something, you need to have the knowledge, you need to have the skills, there has to be tools for you to be positioned to manage this project very well. And then furthermore, we shall look at the project constraints. What are these essential things? There are majorly three, including quality. Quality is also one of them. There is this diagram here. If we start by scope. Scope is just the sum of the products or services and the results to be provided as a project. That is just a scope of what we are going to do, like in the project, what it is one of the constraints. Then we shall look at the cost. Cost is the overall cost of the project, not only including the one in the labor, all the costs you incur in the process of coming up with this project, you will consider them. Then we have the time. Time is the overall duration of the project. How much time do you need? And then, like, the reason why we set the time is for you to be in position to make sure this project starting on this day, it needs to end on this day. Then we have to ensure quality. It means all these three, as seen in this diagram here, once one side of it falls down, then the quality will not be all that. For example, cost, time, all these things needs to be balanced such that the quality will be ensured. And then we went further. We can also explain the different types of organization. There are three major types of organizations here. So we can look at the functional organization, matrix organization, projectized organization. Under functional organization, this is where the manager has limited authority and can act just like a coordinator. Under functional, limited authority. Then let's first move down to the projectized organization. Here, the manager will have full or total control or authority over the project. And then when we look at the matrix organization, this type of organization is a hybrid of functional and the projectized organization. Employees are grouped by their areas of expertise, but they also work on projects as needed. These are the three types of organizations. We have the functional, matrix, and the projectized. And then we're supposed to look at the difference between the projects, the agile type and predictive type. Starting with the predictive type, at times called waterfall or the traditional one, versus the agile type. Here the differences have been displayed here. For the waterfall type, the design up front, while in the agile, it looks at the continuous design. And then fixed scope, of course, for it has that fixed scope that is for predictive. And then for the agile, it is flexible. Waterfall type is deliverables, while the other one is future requirements under agile. And then under predictive, we have freeze design as early as possible, while in agile there is free design as late as possible. And Waterfall will have low uncertainty, avoid changes. For it, it is not all that flexible as we said. It means when changes come, it normally avoids it. And then we have low customer interaction, convection project, teaming. While on the other side of agile, there is high uncertainty, embraces change, high customer interaction, self-organized teams. As shown in this diagram, you can see the waterfall. It begins from up, it is moving down. And then for the agile, it is from one to it is like a kind of a circle. In a way that when one circle is complete, moves to the next. It moves in this manner. So that is for the agile. And then we also have, we can look at the teams. When we talk of high performing teams, what do we mean? We can say team is a group of people with specific roles and complementary targets and skills. It means these are, when we talk of groups, when we talk of teams it comes from the word group. In a team will normally composes of not one person but more than one. It is a group of people. Normally they work towards achieving a particular thing, or just working towards performing well in their field or whatever. Benefits of high performing teams. So why should we work in teams? Especially for a team itself, and then for the organization. If the workers of an organization, the members work in team, what will be the advantage? What will be its benefit? Let's first begin by the benefits to the individuals. One, there will be better communication. Of course, when there is unit, of course, team brings about unit. What? Hence, better communication. Equal stakes in outcomes. It increases trust, greater efficiency, greater productivity, increase the engagement. For the organization, one of the benefits can be motivated employees. People enjoy working in teams. Knowledge and independence, more delegations, greater flexibility, innovation, then better client service. Those are some of the benefits for the organizations. Then project scheduling. When we talk of project scheduling, what are we looking at? Project scheduling is an output of a schedule model that represents linked activities with planned dates, duration, milestone, and resources. Now, why do we need a project scheduling? Why? Why should we make sure everything, a project has a starting date? We plan like the resources we are going to use, the time it needs. Why should we do that? So here are the benefits of a project schedule. One, it forces detailed thinking and planning. It will be important to provide for you the resources needed, the date, what, those kind of things. It will be important to make you think and plan well. And then improves communication, yeah. And then it provides a goal. It lets you know when you are off track. Having a project schedule, it will be important to guide you. For example, you'll be possible to know you're running out of time, you're running out of resource, because it can be possible to solve for you this and this is supposed to happen at this time or that time. It can be possible to know. And then it reduces delivery time. And then, yeah, reduces cost. See problems early. Yes, when you have project schedule, it can be possible to know, oh, does the resources available be important to help us to come up with the project? What those ones? It will be project scheduling, help you to see those problems ahead of time or early. Then we can look at risks. Under risks, we can say risks, these are just uncertain events or conditions that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative effects on one or more project objectives. It can be a high risk, it can be a low risk, it can be a moderate risk. Risks the of levels. So when we look at the process in risk management, we can talk of under risk management, there are these steps of you need to plan management, risk management, identify the risk which you are wanted to solve. Then you can perform a qualitative risk analysis, perform a quantitative risk analysis, then plan the response. After coming up with these risks, then you plan it. What can you do in order to overcome this risk? Then a response to that. Then implementing risk responses. This is where now you make sure you implement those responses you had got, such that you'll be in position to do away with the risk. Then you have monitoring of the risks. And then we can look at what is monitor and control. Why is it important in a project that you monitor it and you control it? We can have a look at that. Now when we talk about monitor and control, we're looking at the process of tracking, reviewing, and reporting overall progress to meet the performance objective. Monitoring can consist of collecting, assessing, and distributing information about project performance. Controlling, for it consists of corrective or preventive actions taken to maintain or improve project performance. Then calling, when we talk of now why should we monitor a project? One, we can look at the scope. It ensures that the scope creep is not occurring. Then the schedule, it ensures that the tasks are starting and completing on time. Because if you don't monitor, it can take its own time. People who are working on it can take time. So there is need for monitoring to ensure the scheduling is done well. Then budget also. This is a combination of risk, ensures that risks are being actively identified and managed. Then we can go ahead and look at quality. Quality is very important. As we had looked at the constraints, we had looked at the scope, the time, the quality itself falling. Of course, we needed all those, the cost for it to ensure quality. Okay, we can say quality is a degree to which a set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements. It represents the stakeholders expect from the project So that's quality. It is always important to ensure quality. Then control quality is also another term under this. We can say is the process of monitoring and recording results of executing the quality management. We have the quality audit as well, then the quality metrics, tolerance. These are some of the terms under quality. When we talk of tolerance, what does it mean? Is the quantified description of acceptable variation for the quality requirement. Then it's important for us to deal with the controlling of quality. To wind up, when we can look at the performance evaluation, why should we do that? We can say improves skills that allows individuals to perform assignments more effectively, improves competences that helps team members to perform better as a team. Then reduce staff turnover. Of course, when there is performance evaluation, staffs will be in position to evaluate themselves, hence reducing the rate at which they'll be moving or else leaving the organization or like that. Increasing team cohesion. Teams will be in position to work together, to stand together in solidarity and to achieve the business goal or else the organization goal. Then when we look at project procurement management, what does it talk about? There we shall be looking at the process necessary to purchase or acquire products, services, or results. And then in summary, we are looking at those different terms which are important for us, which we had already discussed in the work. We shall look at the team, the planning. This is just the summary of the major terms we had already learned inside there. When we talk of like executing, what happens? This one focuses on the execution of the project plans. Yeah, for today's case we can stop there. See you again next time. Thank you. Bye bye.